the sales team get all of the reward. So the sales team get recognition, they get commission, and they get trips to Vegas. And I said to this editor, well, do you want to go to Vegas? And they were like, no, absolutely not. I couldn't think of anything worse than going to Vegas. But I asked the question, well, what's your Vegas? And they didn't have an answer. And that was the bit that got to me. It was like, well, this person was unhappy.
And you have set a mammoth or ambitious goal to improve work for 100,000 people, right? It is not an easy one. And what, in your opinion, are the first few steps a company can take to start working towards that particular mission?
Yeah, I'm on about, I've got 99,990 to go. But it depends when this goes out.
And what's one thing leaders or HR professionals can start doing today or immediately to create a more engaging and a positive environment for their teams?
So to me, I'd ask two questions. I'd say, of everything we offer as an organization, what's important and how well do we deliver on what's important? Now, how you ask that, what kind of methodology you take, it's less important. But it's about understanding those two things, because actually you can have all these crazy initiatives, all these wonderful benefits. You can have all of this, these great ideas and theory. But if you don't know the answer to those two questions from your employees, you might get lucky, but you might also waste a lot of time, money and energy.
So folks, you have tuned into TGV, and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording. And we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak. And here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. And we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host, Navin Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So folks, we are joined by Joe Morrison. He's on a mission to improve work for 100,000 people by creating cheer in the workplace. You know what cheer, in his own words, is creating happiness, employee engagement, and results. Fascinating, isn't it? And as a passionate expert in EVP, which stands for Employee Value Proposition, he works to boost productivity, revenue, and talent retention. So, Joe, first of all, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast. How are you doing today?
It's great to be with you, Naveen. And yeah, fantastic. The sun is shining in London, which it isn't always. So yeah, good to be here.
Love it. And Joe, first things first, why should somebody tune into our conversation today and spend their valuable time?
Oh, well, obviously to be in this wonderful podcast and listen anyway. But for me, it's all about EVP for me, and talking about how employee value proposition does so much more than just employer brand. So people typically know it as a marketing tool, but I look at it to improve talent density in the workplace. So hopefully it's of interest to people who are looking to attract and retain staff.
Yeah, absolutely. For those HR leaders and the senior leaders, I think this episode is going to be extremely useful to you. So folks, the topic at hand is decoding EVP. So how to build a powerful employee value proposition. And before we get into the topic, here is an exciting twist. As always, let us tickle our guest's brain first. So Joe, I'm going to kick off the first rapid fire round. Yes, you heard it right. First rapid fire. There is one more rapid fire round toward the end of the episode. And the idea is I'm going to share some words that come to my mind, some random words, and I would expect you to respond to them quickly without thinking much. If you're ready, let's get started.
Hello, I'm Steve Ahern, one of the judges of the Asia Podcast Awards. I'm interrupting this episode to let you know that you're listening to an award-winning podcast. This podcast won its category in the 2024 Podcast Awards, so you know you're listening to quality. Enjoy your listening experience, and congratulations to the team who created this award-winning podcast for you.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So my first word to you is curiosity.
Important.
Invention.
Growth.
Future.
Human experience.
Universe.
Mind-boggling.
Leadership.
Need support in this world.
Success.
Relative. It's all success is all relative. Yeah.
Okay, agreed. And then employee.
Oh, employees are unloved. Unloved, that's what I'll say about employees. But that's with heart and care. I want them to be loved, but unloved.
That's a big statement.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get into why and all of those reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, let's get into that. Yeah. And next is aliens.
Oh, David Bowie. No, and Undiscovered.
All right. And then engagement.
To me, the engagement is the brain and how we think about work.
Mm-hmm. Productivity.
Productivity is better with engagement.
Retention.
Here's a controversial one. I think retention less important than talent retention.
Wow. Again, so powerful.
Okay. Well, exactly. As I'm already starting with some bombshells in the first round.
All right, here comes the last word: happiness.
Oh, so this is again. Well, my view is less controversial. I think it's the heart. So engagement's the brain, how we think. And I stole this from somebody else actually. But happiness is the heart, how we feel.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I loved all your responses, and thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round. And also, thank you for being part of our journey. And let's get into the mainstream. So, Joe, talk to us about who is your guiding voice.
Oh, so I suppose two answers. If it's a person, my fiance and my 3-year-old. But if I'm talking more about my guy, how I think and feel, I have a kind of devil and angel on each shoulder. You've heard that way of working, and the angel is about being better every day. So I don't necessarily have to be run a marathon tomorrow to be better tomorrow, but just even taking small steps to be better every day. But the devil in me it's about fun and hedonism and reckless abandon, which it used to be the only thing on my shoulder. There was nothing on this side. It was just that. But I don't want to lose that. I love having fun and enjoying what I do. I'm particularly passionate about this, and that's a devil and an angel. And for me, I love it when they both work together. So when I'm getting better every day, but having fun doing it, things are great. When it's not, when it misbalance in either direction, then there's chaos, and I'm not good with chaos. I'm good with structure, but yeah, they're my two guiding voices. If I could have two.
Loved your perspective. Very unique thought process. All right, so let's move forward. Talk to us about your success mantra, as in top 3 things that have contributed to your success so far.
Yeah, one is definitely positivity. So I've been known. It's almost like my superpower is bringing a room up. Like you hear all these stories about people who are mood hoovers, so people who are negative and bring people down. Those people hate me because I'm always trying to bring a room up and just trying to light up a room where I go. And I'm not being arrogant here. I don't think that everybody likes that approach or everybody should be that way. But it's been what sets me apart in certain situations, and to the point where some people don't believe it until they see it. But that's one. Two, always looking at solutions. So again, it's quite typical of people who are more negative to look at all the problems and what we could do wrong. And that's why I love spending time with those people, because you go, well, actually, what's the solution we can come up with to change that? I think there's a time and place for it. It's been part of my success and part of my challenge in my career, because some things don't need fixing, and certainly don't need me to fix them as well. So I'm learning to just step back sometimes and let other people do that. And the third is I do care. And again, it sounds really cliche, but it's something that we talk about the guiding voice earlier on, but certain people say, well, you shouldn't be like that. You should be more cutthroat, or you should it's wrong to be that way. And I've never accepted that. I was like, no, I do care, so I'm going to make a difference. And I don't get it right every day. Some days I don't care, but it's what has brought me success. It's just actually caring about the people I'm working with and taking their side and having their perspective, as well as a business. It's taking both sides. But yeah, that's three things. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, a different perspective altogether. So let's keep moving forward. And my next question is like your acronym CHEER, okay, which stands for creating happiness, employee engagement, and results. It is so appealing, actually. So can you share the story behind how you developed this approach and why do you believe happiness is the starting point?
So I'll tell you how it started. It was I did an exit interview 3-4 years ago, earlier in my head of people career. It was with an editor, and this editor was unhappy. They were leaving, so it was an exit interview, obviously. And they were saying about the sales team get all of the reward. So the sales team get recognition, they get commission, and they get trips to Vegas. And I said to this editor, well, do you want to go to Vegas? And they were like, no, absolutely not. I couldn't think of anything worse than going to Vegas. But I asked the question, well, what's your Vegas? And they didn't have an answer. And that was the bit that got to me. It was like, well, this person was unhappy. They weren't really sure why. They were looking over their shoulder or looking at other departments, and they were leaving. I've been in touch with this editor. They're doing really well. So it was the right decision. But equally, we didn't know as a business what that answer was. We didn't know what their Vegas was. So we couldn't impact their happiness at work. We couldn't engage with them more. We couldn't keep them in the business because we left everything until their exit interview to find out why they were leaving. And that's what made a difference. Employee engagement is often seen as a nice to have or a quite a fluffy concept, or dismissed by a lot of business leaders. But actually what I then start to do is educate businesses. Well, it ties in with results. Like productive, engaged employees perform 20% better than disengaged employees. Disengaged employees cost businesses £10,000, so GBP, I'm in the UK, £10,000 a year in loss of productivity. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to engage your employees? But why happiness? So happiness is a difficult, because I don't think you can actually control happiness, which then you think, well, why do you even talk about it? But you can help improve an environment so people are more likely to be happy. And there's a great guy. So there's an expert, more of an expert than me on this, a guy called Matt Phelan at the Happiness Index. And I spoke about this earlier. Talks about happiness being the heart. So why do we feel happy or sad at work, or why do we get annoyed at targets, or why do we get happy when we hit a target? But also then how we engage is, okay, what do we do about that? So why do we stay at business? Why do we leave? Why do we work hard? Why do we not? But the cheer, the idea, I mean, it's a nice acronym, but it ties in all of those three things. So make sure that there's purpose to being happy and engaged. It gets better results.
Yeah, good one. And you have set a mammoth or ambitious goal to improve work for 100,000 people, right? It is not an easy one. And what, in your opinion, are the first few steps a company can take to start working towards that particular mission?
Yeah, I'm on about, I've got 99,990 to go. But it depends when this goes out. But to me, it's goes back to that exit interview with the editor. I'd say stop making assumptions. Like, just speak to employees. Some employees don't know why they're happy or unhappy, and you've got a real good opportunity that they work with you. They're there. Speak to them. And if it's a remote or face-to-face or for a coffee, it doesn't have to be a formal big gesture. But yeah, stop making assumptions on why, on your benefits, on your reward, on what makes a difference. Just start talking to employees. That's like big secret to the company I've set up is it's mainly that. It's having those conversations. And I get it. And people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But that's hopefully where I come in. Hopefully explain to people it's that easy, and still get paid for it.
No, you are right. I think it is better to have that open-ended conversation and rather than going with assumptions, right? Because I've been through that journey for the last 20 plus years being in the corporate and all. Sometimes certain organizations take employees for granted without knowing what the employees really need, right? So I think you're hitting the right chord, and I wish you good luck. I'm sure you're going to get there. And now I think you're writing a book on EVP. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions about the employee value proposition? And what is one key takeaway you want readers to get from your book?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, misconceptions, there's loads. I think I said at the top of the call, people see it as just a marketing tool where you get a slogan that says, come and join us. People see it as a waste of time. People see it as just another engagement survey, which is the one I hear a lot. But that's the reason why I'm writing a book, is to challenge those. I'll go with two specific examples. There's the marketing thing, but people think it's just marketing. It's like, well, it is a marketing. You can get marketing because you can find out, well, what's important to your employees and how well you deliver on what's important. So if you know that, you can take that to market and paint a lovely story. But actually, with EVP, you're speaking to employees and finding that information out with them. So if you're having these conversations with employees and they're starting to realize, well, what's important to me, how well is the company delivering, they're more invested because they think they know you're more invested in them. So that's one misconception. Another is that it's for big companies. I get that a lot. It's, well, big companies, and it's true. 70% of large I'm going by UK stats here, but 70% of large companies have an EVP of some description, compared to something like 5-6% of SMEs and small companies. So you can see that's why there's a misconception. But actually, it's more important at an early stage of a business to speak to employees, to understand what to invest their time and money in when there's not as much time and money to invest. So it's being smarter in terms of like, well, where should I spend on benefits? Should I do a cycle to work scheme, or should I pay bonuses, or should I have healthcare, or whatever it might be? You should be more inclined to think, well, actually, what's important and what's going to attract the best talent, than wait till you're a big company when you've already spent too much money and wasted it. So the book really it's part education. So part one, 3 parts. Education in the first part. So what is EVP? Explain how it works, its origins. Second part is a methodology. So how do you actually apply it into a business? And then third is looking at those misconceptions. So looking at why, what would help you get EVP over the line and why it would make a big impact. So yeah, it's taken taken a lot of hours and interviews and time. I wish it was done by now, but one day it'll be out there for the world.
Yeah. I know what it takes to write a book. It is not an easy thing, and I wish you good luck. Once the book gets released, I think probably we have to do one more episode. And
the book launch, right?
Let's move forward. So when you talk about productivity, revenue, and retention, right? These are all the results of a strong workplace culture. So can you walk us through a specific example or a case study where you saw a company's metrics improve after implementing your strategies?
Yeah. So I spoke about the retention side. I think talent retention is where I found this most beneficial, because it's about retaining the right talent. And I'll kind of go a little bit around the story to get to there, but it makes sense. So you imagine like there's a boat with, say, 6 people on a boat.
Right.
The 2 at the front are rowing forward, going towards the destination. You've got 2 in the middle doing nothing. But then you've got 2 at the back going in the other direction. So it's going to be so hard to get what you need to achieve if you've got people who aren't doing much, so they're disengaged, or people going in the wrong direction, they're actively disengaged. So what I did is work with businesses to go, well, okay, well, who are the people who should jump off or find another boat? Who are the people we can get moving and get more out of? And who are the ones that we need to wrap in cotton wool or give all the reward and help them be better? So we did that, and the results were, revenue in one company I worked with, over the 2 years that I was there, we grew 50% in revenue. Now I get it, that's not all on me. Love to say it was just me. But again, getting the best out of the sales team, getting best out of the project managers, getting best out of editorial, like that's contributes. And company before that, they're a $400 million company and sold for 1.2 billion. So like, again, I make this absolutely clear. There are 200-300 other people who made that success happen. But and that's why I feel HR actually get a lot of pressure. It's like it's expected to be them that makes everybody happy. But it is the result of having the right people on that boat or on the bus, as some people call it, whatever you want to say. But it's about making sure you've got those right people all going in that right direction. And then all of those results start to happen. So HR can help with that, but it's still the other people that made that happen.
Yeah, got it. And what's one thing leaders or HR professionals can start doing today or immediately to create a more engaging and a positive environment for their teams?
So use the answer about speaking and getting in front. So I'll try something else. But to me, it's when you are speaking to them, I suppose it's the topic. What do you talk about? So if you spoke to an employee today, what would you ask? So to me, I'd ask two questions. I'd say, of everything we offer as an organization, what's important and how well do we deliver on what's important? Now, how you ask that and what kind of methodology you take, it's less important. But it's about understanding those two things, because actually you can have all these crazy initiatives, all these wonderful benefits. You can have all of this, these great ideas and theory. But if you don't know the answer to those two questions from your employees, you might get lucky, but you might also waste a lot of time, money and energy. So if there's something to change today, find that out. And that's with EVP. That's one way of doing it, but there are loads of other ways you can do that too. Yes, I would plug EVP. That's my thing, but there's so many other ways you can do that. So yeah.
Okay. Yep. Got it. And this has been amazing conversation so far. And it's time for us to spice up the episode by kicking off the second rapid fire round. So if you're ready, let's get started.
Ready as I'll ever be, Daveen.
All right. So I'll keep it easy. And this time, the first question is, like, if you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Oh, I'd like two billboards. Because one, I'd say I'd sell the business. I'd go, cheer improves talent density with EVP. But then I'll take my ego and my commercial hat off. I'd probably say something like, believe in yourself. A real positive message out there.
Yeah. Love it. And can you describe yourself in just one word?
Bad at maths. No. Positive. Positive is always the one.
Same with me. I'm also bad at math.
Yeah. That's, I know I couldn't resist doing one of those cheesy jokes. Yeah.
All right. Next. Like, what's a weird habit you have that helps you get into a creative mindset?
So it's it's weird habit. I don't recommend this habit. I've this weird habit of doing anything but what I've scheduled to do in the calendar. So you're lucky we had time today, because so if I need to do business development, I'll do something creative, like do some kind of LinkedIn post. If I need to prep for a podcast, I'll go make loads of client calls. I'll always have this weird way of working that I can't just do what's there in front of me. And there's a weird, it all gets done, so it works out well, but I don't recommend that habit to anybody else. It's a weird and bad habit.
Okay. And what is the most unusual job you have ever had?
So I'm going to give you, I don't think it's this unusual, but when I tell people, they always seem to stop and question it. But I used to sell advertising space for a magazine called Horse and Hound, which was probably because I knew nothing about horses or hounds. And actually at the time, nothing about sales either, which hasn't changed much. But also the film Notting Hill came out and Hugh Grant said he worked for Horse and Hounds. I think it's not that unusual, but people seem to think that's a bit strange for someone like me. Anyway.
Interesting. Interesting. And if you could use only one word for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Something positive. Go.
Thumbs up.
So I'd probably want to use you speaking to me for 15 minutes. You probably know I'd want to use more words, but go something like that. Just do it. Go. Yeah.
Yeah, good one, good one. And what is a piece of common advice that you completely disagree with?
There is one which I get the most engagement on LinkedIn for discussing. It's arguing about that people say free fruit isn't a benefit.
Yeah.
I know it's not just about free fruit in companies, but perks always get a bad press. And the assumption always is that a company talks about perks, it means that their culture's bad and they're not looking after employees. But and they advise people against the companies that say free fruit is a benefit. And I'm like, well, why not both? Like, why can't you have free fruit and that be a good thing, and a great culture and that be a good thing, and everybody's happy? There's a guy I used to work with. I won't name him because I haven't told him I'm doing this. But his one of the favorite things, he loved the free fruit. He talked to people about it. He talked about the benefits to health. He talked about the difference it makes to his day, the money saving. I'm like, that's a benefit, right?
Yeah.
The internet doesn't always agree, but there we go.
Okay. And what is a non-work related skill you are secretly passionate about?
I'll give you a weird answer to this one. That less one skill. I'm passionate about doing something different, and one big thing a year. Not every day. Like I try to get better every day. I don't do something different every day. But one year I did stand up. So I did some stand up comedy. I went on a TV dating show here, which was a disaster. Jumped out of an aeroplane, things like that. That's the thing that I'd always call it a skill, because it's just getting out and doing these things. This year, so the book, starting the business, these things, that's the. I don't know if I'm cheating. It's not really a skill, but there are things like that just keep me interested in, passionate about what's going on in the world. Yeah.
I think you'd like to try something new every year. I think that's a good one. All right. So here comes the last one for the second rapid fire round. What is one electronic gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
I've realised I've not been very rapid fire in this round, have I? But my favourite, it's been invented annoyingly, but I'd reinvent it and modernise it. It's a product called the Tease Made. You ever heard of this?
No.
No, not many people have. So it used to be commonplace in the UK for people to have this bit of kit. It was basically an alarm clock with a mug in it, a kettle, and basically a kit to make a breakfast tea in the morning. So when your alarm would go off, the kettle would boil, and you'd pretty much have a tea to get out of bed. I looked this up, actually. They do exist. So I guess I can't claim to invent it, but I'd probably make it safe so that more people would feel comfortable having boiling hot water next to their bed. Maybe that's it. An invention to make that safe. Sorry, I know it's not been quick fire, has it? It's
No worries. I loved all your responses, and thank you for participating in the second rapid fire round as well. So let's flip back to the mainstream. So, Joe, what is your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers?
Again, it's a real cliche one, and it ties in with the billboard answer. But I'd say just do it. I think there was a clothing brand who might have said that as well. But it doesn't mean jumping out of a plane or doing big crazy things always. It's just like you can do small things and you can plan to make them happen, and you can do them at your speed. But whatever you do the thing. Like, don't regret or leave things on the shelf or wish that you did it in 10 years' time. I still struggle with that. Like, it's still something that there's things that I wish I did, or did things different when I was younger. I don't regret the life I had, but equally, I wish I just said yes more and did things and took this advice on more. There's always going to be barriers. We'll always, like, if someone says I can't because of this, I get it. Some people have genuine barriers that stop people from doing certain things, and we've got roof to keep over our heads, to keep safe, keep warm, all of that stuff. But like, most of the time, it's fear that holds us back. And most of the time, once we've done the thing, the fear disappears, and it was all in our head. So yeah, just try and remove barriers or try and plan things and make stuff happen. And I guarantee things will always be better.
Yeah. Excellent. I loved talking to you. It was such a fabulous conversation and really amazed by the responses. And thank you so much for being on the show. So, how is your experience being on the Guiding Voice podcast?
Joe Naveen, this is probably the most fun I've had on a podcast. No disrespect to the other podcasts that have been on and the ones that I might be going in the future, but yeah, both my devil and angel are very happy. So
oh, wow.
It's been great. It's been great fun. This is it. Like it's good fun, and it should be. That's kind of the messaging I put out there. Like we should be trying to enjoy things as much as we can, and it doesn't have to be stuffy corporate ways of working. Like you can have both. So yeah, this has been a great experience. Thanks very much, Naveen. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it, and thank you so much once again for being with us. And looking forward to hosting you again in future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So, friends, that was our episode with Joe Morrison. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. If you have liked the episode and found it useful and enjoyed it, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues or family members who would also like TGV. So, spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment. So, here is some interesting trivia and historical information about the origins of employee engagement. First is, it's a surprisingly recent concept. While the idea of a motivated workforce is as old as work itself, the term employee engagement, as we know it today, didn't exist until very recently. And the formal concept was introduced in 1990 by the organizational psychologist William A. Kahn. And his groundbreaking paper, Psychological Conditions of Personal Engagement and Disengagement at Work, defined it as the harnessing of organization members' selves to harnessing of organizations members' selves to their workload, their work roles. So this marked a major shift from simply focusing on employee satisfaction or morale to be a deeper, more emotional and psychological connection to one's work. And second fact is that it was born out of dissatisfaction with the past. Before the 1990s, the dominant management theories focused on 2 extremes. First is scientific management, early 1900s, and which is pioneered by Frederick Winslow Taylor. And this approach saw workers as cogs in a machine, and the goal was to maximize efficiency through standardized tasks, and motivation was purely about money. For example, piece rate pay. And this led to immense productivity gains, but often at the cost of worker well-being and a sense of purpose. And second is human relations movement, which belongs to 1930s. The famous Hawthorne studies in the 1920s and 30s showed that social factors and a sense of being valued had a huge impact on productivity. So this led to a focus on making employees happy and satisfied, but it didn't fully capture the idea of employees being invested in their work. And the third main fact is that the janitor at NASA story, which is very popular. And though apocryphal, this story illustrates the spirit of engagement long before the term existed. When President John F. Kennedy visited NASA's headquarters in 1962, he saw a janitor mopping the floor and asked him what he was doing. And the janitor supposedly replied, "Mr. President, I am helping put a man on the moon." This anecdote perfectly captures the modern essence of engagement, feeling connected to a larger purpose, even in a seemingly small role. So that's it from my side from the trivia perspective, but I would love to hear from you. If your organization is driving some interesting employee engagement initiatives and empowering employees, do let me know about how things are done differently. And if you're watching this episode on YouTube, you can comment there, or if you're listening to it on Spotify, you can comment there as well, or you may comment on any social media platform wherever you have found this episode. So folks, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. So until next time, take care, Stay inspired, and remember, the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest. Until then, take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.